Yo, yo, yo. I wanted to bring you guys some fire with this little monkey. With this little stray. I rescued you. Mommy was a stray. Huh, monkey? All right, so I ran out of laundry. I got to do a laundry. I was going to wear yellow, but I don't have any yellow shirts, so I'm wearing a sheet, but I just want to channel the energy. I switched my phone case to back to yellow. I honestly just switch back and forth between maroon or a darkish red. I have a nice metallic red. I have like 10 different phone cases. I'm a altaholic, you could say. Um, Yellow as fire. This episode is called Urgency and Confidence. These are masculine chakras according to the Eastern Hindu kind of tradition. They think that there's 3 feminine chakras, 3 masculine chakras. Some say the crown as masculine. I don't think the crown is masculine. I think the crown is actually neuter, the perfection of both genders, the merging of the twin flames. You've seen that staff of Hermes. It's 2 Kundalini and then the angel wings. I'll post a picture of that, but you already know what that is. That comes from Egypt, and then Hermes Trismegistus. I don't know. Anyways, this Hermetic. That's where Hermetic wisdom comes from. Thoth the Atlantean, all kinds of weird stuff. But how is this useful? Well, 3 masculine chakras: root, solar plexus, throat; 3 feminine: sacrum, heart, third eye. Third eye, feminine. Women naturally have developed intuition. Women are naturally more perceptive to the moods and emotions of others. I had to really learn this more. I was like very unaware when I was younger. I couldn't read people's energy. I couldn't feel people's energy. It wasn't until I really meditated, unlocked my spirituality, even some plant medicine. I mean, it activates parts of your brain that have never been activated before. So I'm not really into it. I only did it as spiritual ceremony, or sacred ceremony. But yeah, it kind of did unlock different ways of thinking. But being able to read a room, most like, okay, walk into a big room, big conference, maybe you have to go speak on a stage, fear. You read the room, you look around, what's the vibe of the whole room, right? Most people are just tired and they're just like, whatever, and then they look at you and then it's usually just honestly just a constant, like, I'm just kind of tired to be here. Most people are not really thinking that much. As much as we think people may have opinions of us, most of the time there's no opinion. It's not a negative opinion. It's just a dash. There's just no opinion. It's just neutral to the point of like not existent. Opinions are formed when the stimulus was powerful enough. It has to be an energetic stimulus. If you're on the subway, or what do they call it, the underground, most people are not really paying attention. What catches your attention? Girl in a pink dress, she's cute, baby crying, okay, that's loud, homeless guy acting crazy, that's dangerous, other than that, whatever, life goes on, right? There's a monotony, there's a grind, there's a routine, habit, day to day passes by, nothing changing, nothing catching my eye. So solar plexus is stimulating mental energy. The difference between the 3 masculine energies is the root is a containment field. The root is about material proximity, not necessarily power, control, and authority, but yes, safety, boundaries, personal space. Hey, you are sitting way too close to me. Have you ever been at the gym and there are like 20 treadmills available, and then they want to get on the one right next to you, and you feel like there's some kind of sexual vibe, or they're kind of like flirting with you, or like it's invasive, Oh man, why did you have to pick the one right next to me? I'm so empathic that I can't help but feel your energy. Unless it's like a really cute girl, then I would be okay with that, or an attractive vibe. But to be honest, I don't really like anyone in my personal aura. I need about like 3 to 6 feet on each side of me. I don't want you in my space, you know? I like to go to public, gyms and areas sometimes. I like to people watch and, the energy, but I also very much prefer to also be in my own, you know, momentum. And I would love to have just my own home gym, like a big, nice home gym. But sometimes I do like to people watch, but okay, anyways. So this episode is about authority, confidence, ultimately urgency. I accidentally bought a $10 course. I didn't mean to do it. I think the universe wanted me to do it. Like I don't even know why. My muscle twitched and I tapped the buy. My muscle just like boom and then bought it. And I was like, oh fuck. I tried to click the back button. It's only $10, whatever, you know. But yeah, if you link your card on school, be careful when you click that button because I'm sure you could probably get a refund. There's no confirmation. They want that money. Click, boom, it's there, right? Charge the card. So, yeah, be mindful of that. I wish there was a confirm button. I don't want it to be that easy to spend money. I mean, Christ. But no, it was actually a good course. So I think the universe actually wanted me to buy it. This guy's got a gold star, which means 1% growth, means really, really good at community. The stars to me, they are the most engaged. Goose just got the star back. This guy's got the star back. So it was very short, only 4 pages for $10. I thought it could have been a little longer. I'm actually going to make a module on every single course and every single premium upgrade that I get on school. I want to not only make the most money on school, but I also want to spend the most money on school. I want to buy everybody's shit, you know. I'm a generous guy and I want to invest in the platform. If you got cool stuff and it's less than 100, I may very well buy it. I don't have I don't have a problem with that. I feel like why not? If they're your VIP people, they're really helping you grow your book, not book, growing your group. Dude, I don't mind but being your first sale. Once we go into the 2, 3, 500 plus category, I need that to be kind of more specific to my needs. But 99 or less, honestly, I might be buying that like, popcorn, just fucking I can be an impulsive buyer. It motivates me. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that hard for me to make money if I just have to get really fucking amped up. But, you know, so I probably should be doing more of my moving business, leads just because it pays me more. And then at least I can take that money and buy, more um, courses and offers and stuff because it is an investment that immediately returns to you. Like the way I look at buying courses is I like to believe that they actually just put energy into the product. The moment you buy it digitally, it releases their energy. That's what I like to believe. I like to believe in this futuristic kind of alien technology. You can literally imbue your energy, like a chakra kind of energy, into the product. And all you have to, so you could have like vending machines that would just give you energy, like actual energy into your like soul. Like, how crazy would that be? But I like to call it bioenergy. You could just buy any chakra, any color of energy that you wanted. I need some motivation. You just buy, like, straight up just infuses you with energy, right? So I look at chakras, to be totally honest, transactionally. I'm feeling the need to really push a lot of yellow. I feel it in my body. I actually feel it in my core of like, okay, I think this energy would be really helpful to them. This is the energy that I'm blessed with since birth. I've always been a fire dominant. Astrology can be somewhat of an accurate assessment of our elemental energy, but I'm a Taurus sun, I'm a Aries moon, I'm a Sagittarius rising, I'm a Aries Mercury, I'm a Jupiter Leo. Um, yeah, so I've got all three fire signs. My sun is in the fifth house, which is Leo. The house that the planet is in, I believe, is an amplification. I believe that that sign kind of exalts the planet. So my sun is exalted by Leo, whatever house your sun is in. They're all in their own houses, right? I'm actually connecting with an astrologer. She actually seems pretty cool. So she had some really interesting things to say about transits. I might buy her fucking thing. This is an astrologer that knows how to talk to people, not the other crazy chick. She actually seems pretty cool. And maybe I'll buy your reading, you know? We both have Capricorn North Node. North Node, like kind of maybe the direction your life is, intended to go. Capricorn is all about business and climbing the ladder. So, and Capricorn likes to take things in stages. I'm not gonna lie, I like a slow roll. I don't even mind that success can take a little bit longer. I'm in my 30s. I wanted to be a millionaire in my 20s, but I was not even very committed until I was 28. Is when I just became psycho. I don't know. I had a big upgrade in my root. I didn't actually understand that it was just that kind of an energy to bring money. I did not actually understand that. You know, I was battling in my mind how frustrated and annoyed and discouraged. It's all an emotional mind game in the beginning. Like, it's so hard to actually conceptualize, like, it does not matter what business, it does not matter what industry. If you want to make more money, the only thing that matters is you driving an active energy. You have to drive it. That has to move. Doesn't mean your body has to move. I'm stationary on my computer, but my mind is glowing with that energy and I'm sending it out to people. It must be received by them for there to actually be a transaction. And you're just giving it, and it's not always a masculine energy to make money. The masculine energy is just the choice to show up when I could be doing other things. I had an ex-girlfriend. I've always kind of dated entrepreneurial women, some entrepreneurial, some not, but she made 220K a month in a MLM, and her energy was not really red. Like, it was sometimes, but what people loved about her and why they joined her team, she just had an infectious charisma, the smile, the cute happiness. She's a Pisces. I love that Pisces energy, but I think I'm the most compatible with Pisces and Aquarius, if I'm totally honest. But I can also say that I think you can be compatible with every sign. I mean, there's so much more than just a sun sign. There's a lot more. The Venus, there's so many signs, but I got her astrology energy now. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but anyways, urgency, right? This is my Earth. I'll go out like a spaz, like a Sagittarius rising, and then I gotta like rein it back in. Like, okay, what were we talking? Focus. I am a Taurus. My moon in the fourth house, Cancer. My Venus and Mars in Cancer. I actually have a lot of Cancer energy. Cancers are telepathic because they understand, they can just intuitively feel the emotional field of others. I used to hate having Cancer energy because I thought it was weak or too emotional. I can be very emotional. I like to cuddle with my cats. I like poetry. The Cancer and the Taurus energy is, I just like to savor the experience of life, like a beautiful hotel room. Oh, that's so nice. Feels so nice in my stomach, The nice meal, the scenic, cafe. the beautiful crisp mountains of Switzerland. Fortunately, I've been able to go to Europe a few times. My DNA is actually quite literally 50% Chinese Mandarin, 50% Northwest European on my dad's side. So I actually do have English. My last name is a Scottish last name. We just don't know what happened. Like 4 or 5 generations ago, they came to America in a boat to North Carolina and then went into like farming. That's it, as many immigrants did. Nothing special. No coat of arms, no crest, no clan. I'm disappointed. I wanted to have a Scottish crest on my shoulder. I do like the English culture. I just don't like the suppression that you can get imprisoned for a tweet. That to me is low key. That's weird. You can get locked up for a tweet. I guess just don't tweet about politics, but I don't know. That to me is like policing. I'm just not even going to get into it. Okay. I think the UK will actually be very interesting. I've only been to the Heathrow airport in London, but I have been to Ireland. I'd like to spend some time in Scotland actually and try to tune into my paternal ancestry. Some of it was Nordic, Vikings colonized, Scotland. Some of it was Anglo, Germanic. So yeah, I'm half, like very much half like English, Scottish, maybe there's some Viking or some German on my dad's side. On my mom's side, it's like straight up like uh Mandarin, Taiwan and Mandarin and China. So yeah, an interesting mix, I guess. I think that's why I'm able to connect with so many kinds of people. Like I've always grown up around white people because my dad was in the army, so we lived on a lot of military bases and I guess just the suburbs of Texas. San Antonio, where I grew up, there was a big Latin influence. So Cinco de Mayo and all the, mariachi. And San Antonio has delicious Tex-Mex. If you like Tex-Mex, oh, it's savory, very savory. Um, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm rambling now, but that's just what fire does. It just kind of burns everywhere. Sagittarius to me is like a wheel of fire. It just goes around and around, and then eventually kind of loops back to what was I saying again? Oh yeah, urgency. Well, I know it's Monday, guys. If you look outside, like the weather is so dead. Austin's very lazy. That's why I'm happy to leave here. People here do not want to work, and they're constantly burnt out. Austin used to be a beautiful music capital, and it had the free spirit of a singer-songwriter and an artist. That spirit has, there's so much tech that's come here. That's what happens. Like when something's underground and kind of new, school is still very much underground. There's a beautiful soul, and it was pure and original, right? The pureness of creativity and art. There's murals downtown. There's just a happiness and an appreciation of life. It's a feminine kind of energy, right? Austin to me, very green, very blue. A lot of tech here. They're very intelligent and they're very good at communicating. Um, but the big tech comes, right? Because it's kind of this fertile yin energy. The big tech comes and it's the masculine, just buys it all out, right? Furnace. That's what it feels like to me. Tech, just big furnace of business, and then it consumes that feminine energy. I mean, in a way, I am also like a furnace, but the world does not understand or emphasize wellness, The world constantly feels like it needs to drive and overpower burnout. Like, I can tell you, this planet would be better off if everybody took December off, at least, maybe November and December. There's not enough time for rejuvenation. I'm a freakazoid, so I'm trying to rejuvenate as quickly as possible because I want to push as many cycles and waves as possible. But because that's what gets you the fastest result. My limiter is not my active masculine energy. My limiter is I run out of feminine energy. I consume it in a way. I need constant amounts of heart chakra energy. I burn it. It's like oxygen that, like a lighter. You just run out of lighter fluid. I need like if I have a constant supply of like wind or heart chakra, or I need feminine energy, I think I do polarize very masculine by default, but I can switch to feminine. Anyway, so I've been in my solar plexus chakra my entire life. The benefits of a solar plexus chakra is I'm really good at pricing, and I understand the motivation of somebody very intuitively. Where water is aware of your emotion, fire is aware of your mindset and your motivation. Why are you, fire understands the intention of somebody. That's your gut instinct. You can trust if someone's good or bad. You just feel it in your gut, right? How do you know? I don't know. I just know. It's just a vibe, right? I know exactly what to price things at. I don't want to be annoying and like too coaching, but I was chatting with Z. Z is blowing up his group so fast. He went from rank 8,000 to rank 200, 176. He has ranked up 7,800 ranks in like 3 months. That is fucking insane. I'm aware of the growth. It may not seem like a huge achievement if we haven't started pulling in thousands of dollars. And then I think when the group gets to about 500 to 1,000, that is absolutely ready to monetize. I think it can get too big. If it gets too big and it's not monetizing, that's, to me, it actually is a bad thing, because you have to now hedge spam. Imagine having to spend 2-3 hours a day just deleting bots. Oh my God. So we got to make at least enough money to pay a VA in Asia. Pay them $4 an hour, man. Just moderate the group to remove. You don't want to do that, man. Just pay $4 or $5 an hour and have somebody moderate. Have them just delete spam. It's obvious spam, right? And like, so yeah, the better groups are doing that. You have to constantly hedge against spam. So I might not want it to go bigger than 1,000 for a while, and then you decide, do I want to now make it a paid group? I don't know. How would you know? I guess you would just know. You wouldn't know until you just try it. So, urgency to make money. I mean, you're just going to have to go overtime, The price of life is exhausting. The world is tired. So, my energy comes from oxygen, actually. If I have enough oxygen, I can just burn nonstop, ceaselessly burn my energy, let's go. But I run out of oxygen. But you may have oxygen, and you may say, I don't necessarily need an oxygen. I'm generally in a well mood. I just need fire. Well then, hey, this is a perfect connection, because I got a fuck ton of fire. I'm happy to share my energy. It's about harmonization. You harmonize each other's energy. Okay, urgency, confidence. Um, the thing that I learned about confidence, if I've ever struggled with neurodivergency, or mastered neurodivergency, I do think I'm a weird person and I'm eclectic and I do things totally against societal norms. I do not live my life in the confines of society. I actually prefer to do the opposite of what everybody does. Human design is interesting. I'm a projector in human design, and they have channels in human design, which is based off the I Ching in China. It actually is quite interesting, and I may agree with some parts of this. I have the channel of it's called transformation, but it's also called it's not anarchist, but it is I th- revolutionary. It's the person that leads the revolt. I have that I only have two channels. And then I have the channel of it's called Freak to Genius. It's a channel from the third eye to the throat. They're able to synthesize ideas and then communicate those ideas. It sounds like you're a freak until people realize you're genius. Um, I think I am able to quite literally just kind of tune into we all have like all of this energy. I told Z, I was like, I'm really feeling a red and orange energy from you, but I also feel a third eye energy. He's a producer and he masters music, and I can tell he's an intelligent guy, as many of you are intelligent. I'm not saying you don't have like throat shock or a third eye. I'm just saying what I felt in your group that was really growing the group was I felt a lot of red and orange at the same time. He uses the word cooking a lot, kind of like a younger guy thing to say, like lit, but cooking up. To me, that is red and orange cooking. And that's what I think has made his group grow so extremely quickly. It's not just the driving red, I want to grow, yes, but it's the orange. We're all in this together. And then I think his group is excited about how fast the group is growing. People are buying into the growth of the group. And I think that's really cool. So that's what I'm learning from him. I may be able to help with just the business mechanics because I have been doing this for 10 years straight. I'm really fucking good at understanding what drives somebody to spend money. I'm really good. And I know what the number is. I can usually read someone's mind on the number. I will tell them the highest number that I think they will give me without walking away or shopping around. And I can usually tell every number that I give them is kind of my intuition on what I think they would be willing to pay me right now. Because you know that if they think about it or they walk, the moment they start shopping around, you have gone from 80% probability to close to about 10. The moment they start shopping around, they're going to forget you. You learn in sales that you really got to strike when it's hot. Sales is about a psychic understanding, a link mentally. It is the solar plexus, but it's like you build rapport, you build the connection, you feel how your energy is flowing back and forth between the two people. The emotional intensity it has to rise to a climax, to a culmination, a business orgasm, but quite literally, you can tell when it hits a maximum and then it begins to start coming down again. The mistake that many people make is they try to close before the maximum or after the maximum. You waited too long. That's why I can tell you, I know exactly when the peak of the conversation was. This is the exact moment you need to now close and ask. Closing is a high level sales skill. It just takes practice. You have a good shot at getting the money, but you got to close and you got to ask several times. You have to know when to not be annoying, harassing, persistent. But here's an interesting stat. Most sales take 4 times to ask. 4 to 6 times to ask. Now that sounds incessant, overly over the top, overbearing. But it's the fucking truth. There's a statistic. Most of the big high ticket closes are after like 4 objections. I will go up to 6 times if I really want the sale and I think that this is really going to help them. This is only really for high ticket. I don't even close like moving jobs. I don't have to. I don't even need to. I just text them. For $100 to $200, I'm not going to do a formalized sales pitch. I'm not. For $1,000, I will, but I'm not gonna lie. Even $1,000 to me does not really excite me that much. $6,000 excites me, so that's why you see a crazy jump in price. I have confidence and I have swagger. The course that I want to sell is $300, and I want to sell one of those a day. The high ticket that I want to sell is $6K, but I'll do it for $1,000. $1,000 does not excite me. I have made so many sales of $1,000 or more that it just is not novel. I've done it. Not that exciting to me. So it benefits to have a friend such as myself I've just done this a million times. I've sold so many $10,000, $40,000. I sold solar systems, solar panels on the house. They're $40,000 systems, $30,000 systems, So I have sold high ticket a lot. So many different industries. I'm a Sagittarius rising. They liked a lot of random different things, Sold solar, sold smart homes and alarms, sold real estate, but failed, sold e-commerce, successful, eBay store, just it's taking too long, too many I don't like clicking buttons. I hate clicking buttons, hate it. sold gym equipment, major success, making a lot of money. I was making several $100s a day the entire time. I got really lazy. In the beginning, I was working like 80 to 90 hours a week. In the end, I was working like 10 hours a week, and I was still making several $100s, you know, probably at least 2 grand a week, working about 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week. Because I was still getting so many DMs, and I just know this person's serious, this person's not, this person wants to complain about the price. The price is high because you're not going to find this shit anywhere else. Okay, you got to pay me, dude. Okay, this person's going to think about it. I'll retouch the next day, follow up. You have to learn these kind of basic procedural things. You have to follow up with the lead. You have to know, when are they going to walk? When should I give them, like, sometimes, like, you kind of follow up in the immediate flow. It's kind of like valences of atoms. They have valence shells. So the core, the nucleus is when it's hot, the first valence shell, I may touch back with you in three days if we're going to keep it hot. If it's not that hot, I'll come back in about 7 days. Just retouch, called a retouch. If not, then we might push it to like a 1, even a 2 or 3 month retouch. Okay. I don't think now's the right time, no worries. Would it be okay if I just touch back to you in like 2 or 3 months? Everybody will say fine, 2 or 3 months, because, oh, thank God they're leaving now, Oh, thank God they're not going to bother me anymore, salesperson. It's relieving when they remove the pressure. Yeah, no worries. I'll just touch back in like 2 or 3 months, no big deal. I'm a no pressure sales guy. I'm so good at closing that I don't even have to close. I don't even have to close. That's when you get so good at sales, you don't have to close, When you become so good at sales, then you start becoming good at marketing. I think you should learn sales first before marketing, because you need to understand the motivation of your customer. Why would they spend the money? It's not real. I know we want to help people, but it's not actually helpful unless they spent the money. Them spending the money is saying that I believe that you are professionally able to solve my problem. That is the greatest validation you could ever receive. I determined that your time is worth money. You know, Support is nice and nice words are nice, but I'm going to tell you guys, nothing is more nice than when they gave me cash and it hit my account. Oh my God. One of the best days of my life was when I did a 10K day. That was validating. I was poor for most of my life. I was struggling. I was never making very much money. I had never made 6 figures in my life, although I would have made a high 6 figure salary had I graduated from my business college. I would have gone into finance, but it's weird. Like, I would have made a lot of money, but doing this shitty corporate thing, being an ass kisser, fuck that. Then I'm just bartending, working in restaurants. I've worked minimum wage. I've worked in many restaurants, sandwich shops, pizza joints. Okay. I enjoyed doing food deliveries because I could just listen to music and drive, and I didn't mind. And the money was honestly not that bad. And you could make 15 to 30 an hour just delivering food. I didn't mind, in my younger 20s. Okay. Then I began to get the best shifts of delivering. Then I went into sales. Then I went into appointment setting. I got good at that. I said, you guys need to teach me how to close, because the closers got paid a lot more than the appointment setters. Then I learned how to close deals. I did retail sales. I got promoted to team lead. Then they wanted to promote me to store manager, but I knew intuitively that it was not going to pay as much as they were kind of making it seem like. You get this huge store commission. I was like, I don't think the realistic timeline, it would take 3 months to open that store to really start seeing a return. There was no growth, recruiting and managing a sales team was not interesting enough. I don't really care. Sales reps make the most money, and then basically it's all kind of multi-level. Like, when you become a recruiter and you manage a sales team, you get a percentage of the entire volume of your sales team, and then you could have multiple sales teams. So it's not that different from like a multi-level marketing. You don't have to get caught up on like the ethics of it. It's just a group commission on your entire team. It's just an affiliate commission on a team. There are affiliates all the time. School has an affiliate commission. Okay, we're going through a lot of info, but I do think this is pertinent, so I don't mind, going past 30 minutes. But um yeah, so anyways, let's wrap it up. But anyway, sales urgency. Um Oftentimes we think that we need the confidence to start, but the universe does not reward confidence. The universe rewards activity. Just start now. I will make products that I haven't even finished making and I'll bring them to market and I'll start pre-selling them because I'm good at sales. It doesn't have to be perfect. They're not buying the product necessarily. They're buying you. They're buying your time. They're buying your energy. They're buying your personality and they're buying how you make them feel every day. They want to reward you for being supportive, but to pay you money, you really need to drive that primal motivation. It's a sense of urgency. Urgency is what makes people spend money. Okay. Listen, we're only going to be here for a week. We have a 3-day, money back guarantee return policy. You just kind of cycle back around addressing everything that they wanted. And then you just make your very best effort to get the sale. And I'm not saying you do a formalized sales pitch on a $50 course, but that's my offer is usually money for money. You spend $6, I'm going to help you launch a $60 course, up to $60. I think you should have a low ticket course that costs $60 or less. I think that's very good. Because I'm the kind of buyer, if I like them and they've got $6, $14, $20, dude, I'll buy it right now. I'm not worried about fucking $10. Let's see what you got. If I like the $6 product, I might buy the $14 product, right? Ascension funnel. I believe in the Ascension funnel. So $6, kind of like a freebie kind of thing, but it warms them up to working with you professionally, right? Should I go from 6 to 14? Should I go from 6 to 30? Should I go from 6 to 50? I honestly think 14 feels right to me. 6, then 14 is the next course. And then 36. I don't know. I don't know where I'm pulling. The numbers speak to me. Numbers really do speak to me. 6, 14, 36, 72. That might be how I want to structure like an ascension. 6, 14, 36, 72. I don't know. I don't think it matters what the topic is. I think it matters the energy that is driving the transaction. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think the topic matters so much so long it is solving an immediate need. Guys, it needs to be an immediate need. Otherwise, it's just entertainment. People get bent up on this. If it's entertainment, I don't know, going to a concert, you have to save up for a show, right? But if it's an immediate need, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm thinking about this constantly. Oh man, $14. I am really curious. $6, fuck it, whatever. How was the $6 product? No, I mean, honestly, he delivered. I'm going to help you craft an offer. I'm not going to stop helping you revise it until it sells. Realistically, I mean, come on, for $6, how much of my time can I give you? But no, I will continuously help you revise the product until it sells. Then I want you to give me a testimonial. Benjamin is really fucking good at selling and pricing things. That's what I want you to say. And then I take the testimonial and I put it on my about page. I'm learning a lot of things from these star builders. It's good to have testimonials in your about when they go to your community, and then it has the about, and then it has all the pictures. That's where you want to start putting in some testimonials. Ideally, video testimonial with screenshots over the top. And they're very real people. And you say, hey, I'm Ellie, or I'm Z, or I'm Georgiana. Benjamin crafted this, offer, and I got a sale within like 3 days. This dude knows exactly what he's talking about. Check out his group and then plug your group and then say, hey, it's me over at this school community. That's instant social proof. They're real. They're a community leader. They have the link right there. You help them immediately solve the problem. There must be a sense of urgency for me to spend money today. You don't want them to think about it. When they think about it and they walk away, you're losing about 80% of the momentum that you built. Now, this is an immediate sale, okay? And I understand building a course and building a community is a slower process. But I'm saying once it starts to get hot, the buying questions, the intrigue, the attraction is vibrating more and more and more intense. Like I said, a climax. If you feel like it passes a threshold of intensity, it's now becoming quite intense. There's a lot of interest. Okay, then we can put more energy there, and it would be appropriate to do so. You don't want to let them walk. And then, of course, enough is enough. When you know that it's just not going to be a sale, then I will immediately relinquish any kind of pressure. You know, I understand now it's not the right time because I've determined there is nothing that I can say to change their mind. But if I feel like they may just need a little bit of convincing, they may just need a little bit of confidence, what can I do? I can take the risk away. I have a 100% money back guarantee. There is no risk whatsoever. You release the risk, you release the stress, you remove the pressure. You know, let's just try it out for like a week, okay? Because I know you really want to make this happen. You keep telling me like, when are we going to be ready? I think you're already ready. You're going to keep being in this mindset of like, I don't know, 12 months going to pass by, then you're going to get kind of tired and you're going to give up, because I know so many people do this. You're excited now. We need to keep this momentum going. You're already in the momentum. I need you to actually speed the momentum up. If we don't do this, I really fear your momentum is going to slow down after 6 months. You're going to feel discouraged and you're going to start, getting distracted, right? You don't need belief because I have belief. I have 100% belief. Nobody has more belief that they are competent at business than me because I've done this. I understand how it fundamentally works. I have proven this time and time again. All I got to do is flex my energy, leads start appearing. All I got to do is flex my energy. It is a magnetic containment field. It is red, and you push it with yellow as well. Yellow is acceleration, red is velocity, and quite literally the moment, not inertia, but I'm saying physics. You have speed, and then you have acceleration. Yellow is acceleration, right? Yellow speeds up the excitement, like a crazy club or bar, like a big festive New Year's party or a pub. Europeans love their pubs. They get crazy when it's football, right? No, wow, I love the European pubs because they get rowdy. They get amped up for their sports. Right? It's acceleration. My emotional intensity is accelerating rapidly, right? I'm very curious and excited, and we love that kinetic energy, like a New York or like a Vegas, you know, or Tokyo, walking around Shibuya, I want to go to Japan soon. But right, it's that kinetic energy that makes me, pep up. It's a dopamine response, but this is a healthy dopamine response. Dopamine makes you want to go out and pursue something, makes you want to go do something. I'm not saying like cocaine, but cocaine makes you want to go fucking, I don't do drugs actually. I'm a straight edge guy. I smoke a little bit of weed. It's legal in Texas, but I smoke a little bit of, you know, weed sometimes, but not very much. Not if it interferes with my performance, but um, that's pretty much it. I'm very healthy. I like maca root powder. If you've ever had maca, that gives you a lot of energy. Maca root, ginseng, stimulating herbs, coffee bean extract, guarana. All these things are fantastic. Gives you natural energy. What's the green? Yerba mate is great. Um, Anyways, right? the yellow energy makes them perk up, but it's the red energy that drives them to do something. Do you understand? Yellow entices the mind. It's stimulating my mind. The fair, the playground, recess, okay, amusement park, concert venue, right? You hear that bass. I know those English clubs like to play drum and bass. I like drum and bass music. You know, it's pulsing, man. Yeah, it's pulsing. Talking, 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 looking around, meeting people, right? It's pulsing energy. But the red is what gets them to do something. Hey, you want to go get some food afterwards? You know, I'm getting kind of bored of this club. You want to go somewhere else? When you meet a cute girl, hey, let's go get out of here. You got to ask, right? That's red. Yellow, the excitement, the curiosity is rising, the stimulation is rising. It feels good. It feels good to have stimulation. It feels good to have an interesting conversation. It feels good to go do some cardio. I like to feel the energy burn in my body. I really do love fitness. It feels good in my body to burn that energy. I'm feeling energetic. It feels good. I'm healthy. I'm sweating, you know? Okay. All right, anyways, that's my video for today. This is now officially the longest video, but I hope this is helpful and pertinent. I believe that I'm picking up on the energy of urgency. Guys, we don't want to lose momentum. Your momentum is peaking. You are peaking in your momentum. Let's keep this going, and we need to know when to close. Okay? I am the numbers whisperer. The numbers speak to me. I think my one buddy, I think he can sell a course for $50 on how quickly he's ranking up. I think he can sell 20 of them, and then he can sell another course on how he made $1,000 on school. Dude, I will buy that. How you made $1,000 on school. How I made my first $1,000 on school as, a hobby. I would buy that. I think he can also sell doing mastering. I think he can also like mastering music. I think he can do long distance music coaching. I think you still can do that, bro. But what I want to buy off of you is I want to buy your momentum. I want to buy how fast you're blowing this up. That's what I want. And I think many of the guys want the same thing. They're like, damn, this dude is growing this fast. Okay. Now, neurodivergent coaching. I think, yes, tactical problem shooting and troubleshooting, but I think perhaps we could expand this a little bit. You know, I just get the feeling that inner child would open up the market because neurodivergent parenting is ultra niche. If we can't pay for targeted ads, you have to find really specific niche groups. A lot of people may be fighting for a very small arena, is what I'm saying. We could maybe open it up a little bit to add, I would think it'd be really interesting if you made content about your inner neurodivergent child. That would be very relevant for me. I talked to myself all the time. I had a weird nervous tick where I would go like with my nose. I remember this, I was like 10. I just started doing this all of a sudden, and like they were like, "Why do you keep doing that?" I didn't know. I have this weird like I remember that. I remember my dad. You know, he was kind of a bully and would make fun of me rather than like try to help. Like sometimes he was supportive and nice, but oftentimes he would make fun of me, tease me for being fat. He'd call me all these nicknames. He'd call me Heavy D. You know, those little things, so obnoxious to me. But we could talk about, that. I think I would open it up to like social conditioning, and I think social confidence is what you're coming into. And I'm thinking that that is really, take it or leave it. But this is what my intuition of fire is telling me. The motivation of people to follow, you're leading them to a success. You're leading them to victory. What are you leading them to victory? Yes, children that feel loved. Yes, more confidence or, understanding the social language. That would be a very interesting course if you made it, navigating the social construct, for a neurodivergent individual, teach them the formula of social etiquette and codes. You know, I'm a logical person. Like if someone explains to me the reason why you don't say this to a girl, and then I understand. Like I needed coaching on social nuances, right? And I also learned social nuances in selling. When you're doing door to door or you have a presentation, you smile, right? Charisma, bright in shining energy, you know, it is yellow energy, right? How are you? How's it going? It's a stimulating conversation, right? Like a nice caffeinated beverage, right? If they're interested, they'll do a formal demo with you. This is just my sales jobs, but I have this thing that we're doing. I know you came in here for something else, but I love to come show you. You do actually learn to kind of tell them what to do. Come check it out. When you ask them a yes or no, many times they make an excuse. That's just default. Human beings make excuses and procrastinate by default. So when you tell them to do it, like they can say no, but if they're opening up to you and their body language is opening and they're matching your charisma, they will most often just okay, at recess, hey, want to come check? Let's go check out this fort. Okay. Somebody's got to be the leader. You have to become the leader. I know you're not here for this, but hey, I wanted to show you something really cool. Got a couple minutes. Come check this out. I don't wait for them to say yes. Come check this out. I think this will really help you. It'll rub some people the wrong way, but if you want to get fast results, you got to get over this. Just get over this, man. You got to ask. Come check this out. I really think this would help you. I sold smart homes in a retail store. We're doing the smart home. We have the demo here. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. I start telling them that it's cool. This is a cool doorbell. These are the features. Pretty cool, right? I'm just chatting with them to get them to pep up, be a little bit peppy and animated. Yeah, that's cool. You know, have you ever thought about getting one of these? That's what you ask them before you do the demo. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Then they say, well, how much is this? I'm like, well, I would love to show you really quickly. We could come just like, we had to do a sit down. It did not become a legitimate conversation unless they sat down and were willing to go over pricing, right? If they would stand up, they'll cross their arms and they, well, I just kind of want to know how much it is. Then I kind of appease them a little bit and I say, well, we actually get paid to do like the sit downs. I tell them, I need you to sit down because my job requires me we had to track the number of sit downs. If you have 6 sit downs, then you need to like run 3 credits and then you usually get 1 sale. That was the numbers in my first sales job. 631, almost always 631, 632. That's how the numbers break down. Literally every single sale, 631, 632, 640, sometimes, rarely, 622, sometimes, perfect close. That's the conversion rate. But yeah, anyways, guys, like I am pretty good at this, but it's a social thing. You got to have some element of fire though, right? You got to have some element of urgency and speed. Business favors speed. Like a little kid, mommy, I just want it. I just want it. Can I have it? No, you can't have it. No, but I just want it. Maybe that's annoying. Maybe we reward persistence. We do, even in a little kid. Please, please. Oh my God, we shut up here, have it. Like I will give it to you just so you leave me alone. Yes, fine. Or create a reward. We have to create incentives, guys, and games and prizes and incentives. I may do $100 giveaway. I know that's not a whole lot of money, and it's not like you need $100, but I'm trying to, I could incentivize more activity with cash, so and have a fun game. If I want to make it fun, not like I just want $100, but like how do we make it fun? Eventually, we could do a $500 giveaway, but I'll send it to you, or I'll just put it in. It'd be better to put it into your school payout. That will help your algorithms to get money through school. So we would have to make an offer for 100 and I just buy it, but $100 giveaway. I want to be the guy who has spent the number one most money on school. I want to make the most money and I want to spend the most money. Like this guy has bought fucking 3,000 courses on school, you know, as a form of love. But like, I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys have to share, like I want to learn from you, you know just a small conversation with Z, and we were just commenting back and forth. He was really serious about responding. Then I realized this guy has explosive growth in his group. He is ranking up like really fucking fast. That is uncommonly fast. I want to jump on that, right? I want to take that momentum and we need to start making sales, you know? All right, guys, this has been more like a energy. Urgency and confidence. Confidence. Dude, I'll give you confidence. I know how to run numbers and I know how to pitch people. I can help you with that. That's what I also have to offer. I spend most of my time in red because I think red is worth more than yellow, but you do have to at least have some amount of yellow, which means, is this fun? And then are we increasing the excitement to a maximum? That's when you ask, right? So it's just understanding the rhythm and the flow of human motivation. Okay. So, anyways, a freaking hour-long video. I want you to take this motivation and I want you to tell me, what would you pay for? If you were selling yourself, we duplicate yourself to another version of you, what would you pay for right now? And what is the most pressing desire on your mind? That is probably what we would think about, in terms of crafting an offer, like hobby is niche. I don't want hobby to be entertainment and recreation. I want hobby to be, a creative person who is beginning to get sales. I want hobby to be jacking up momentum and support and tribe. I think you can monetize on momentum itself, is what I'm trying to say, no matter what you sell. Music production or a group event. I think he'll do really well doing group hangouts with an offer, kind of like a group coaching webinar with an upsell at the very end. Many coaches do that, and then maybe opening up new pathways of monetization. Yes, I can do coaching and one-on-one support and tactical, with children parenting, but I can also help you, parent yourself. I can also sell. In a way, it's kind of like confidence coaching, social. I don't know, but like we can open this up. It doesn't have to just be one thing. Yeah, I'm spiritual. I can honestly help you cleanse your chakras and balance your chakras, but that's just a new agey kind of thing. Not that many people care about chakras. Everybody cares about monetization. Making $100 an hour is a fucking amazing feeling. Making $200 an hour is even better. Making $100 in 20 minutes is so validating. It's almost hard to believe in the beginning. I can't believe they're paying me this much. I can't believe it's become so easy. But at the same time, how many thousands of hours have I put into this thing and I never made a fucking dollar? It's time for me to start getting paid. You got to be a little bit demanding with yourself and the universe. How many hundreds of hours have you put into this thing and you got the short end of the stick and you over delivered so much value? It's time for me to receive. Are you with me? Give me a like, shout it out, share it in your group. All right, let's turn it up.